Demeter Joe. Demeter Joe. I thought we were looking for a rhythm nation. Okay. That's what she said. That's what you said. People of the world today. Are we looking for a better way of life? Sing. We are a part of a rhythm nation. That's what she said. That's what she said. That's what she said. Mm. Demeter Joe. Janet Demeter Joe Jackson. Now listen, before we even get started, Janet is my mother, okay? But we gotta pull on Janet's wig just a little bit, just a little bit. Now with that being said, we're not canceling no Janet. So before we even get into what we gotta say, we're not canceling no Janet. It ain't happening, not over here. We're not canceling Janet. Now we're about to have a family meeting, okay? But we're not canceling Janet, not the Janet Jackson, okay? So I just want to get that off my chest. Janet did an interview, and you know, a part of me feels like, can I say something? A part of me feels like when people, especially people within a certain tax bracket, when they are able to kind of, it is not even necessarily people who live in a certain tax bracket, but I think it's a little bit, it's a little bit alarming to me for people when when like they're not connected to the real world. But I also have to take into account that especially these rich folk, they're not connected to the real world because they live in their own world. You know what I'm saying? Um, so Janet Jackson did an interview. Neighbors, in a recent sit-down interview, legendary singer Janet Jackson. Come on, legendary singer. Okay, anyway. Janet Jackson spoke on hearing that VP Kamala Harris is not black. The interview told Janet we could be on the verge of voting for our first black female president. Janet responded, well, you know what they supposedly said. She's not black. That's what I heard. That she's Indian. Hey, her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news. That's not how she said it. Let me tell you how Janet said it. This is how Janet said it. Well, you know, they supposedly said she's not black. That's what I heard. You know, she got that. You know, she gonna whisper that she's Indian. Her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. I was told that they discovered her father was white. Janet sound like those white people. No, Janet sound like those black people. If we're gonna be honest about it, I got something to say. Don't get it twisted. I got a little something for everybody. Now it's important to know that that Kamala has spoken on being mixed race in her book, saying that her Indian mother was well aware she was raising black girls. Now, while the interview did not probe Janet further, apparently she thinks that whether Trump or Kamala wins, it will be mayhem either way. Then someone from her camp basically came back and issued a statement, not so fast. A rep for Janet Jackson has spoken with Variety and confirmed that she did not release a statement. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead. Janet Jackson's publicist has issued a public apology following her comments after hearing Kamala Harris is not black. Janet's manager, Mo, I can't pronounce the last name, stated the comments were based off of misinformation, stating the following. She deeply respects Vice President Kamala Harris and her accomplishments as a black and Indian woman. Janet apologizes for any confusion caused and acknowledges the importance of accurate representation in public discourse. We appreciate the opportunity to address this and will remain committed to promoting unity. Then it came back and said, A rep for Janet Jackson has spoken with Variety and confirmed that she did not release a statement apologizing for comments she made about hearing Kamala Harris not being black. Janet said, I'm standing on big business. Janet said, I ain't apologizing for nothing. I said, Janet said, I said what I said, and I ain't changing it. I know that's right. According to Variety, Mo, I can't pronounce his last name, falsely claimed to be management for Janet Jackson and issued an apology on her behalf. The rep also confirmed with Variety that that Jackson's manager has been her brother Randy for years. I thought Randy was her manager. I knew at one point Randy was her manager. I didn't know that he was still her manager to this day. The family is currently mourning the death of their 70-year-old brother Tito and are unavailable for comment. Um, then it came back. Long story short, it came back that he was fired. The man who claimed to be Janet Jackson's manager and apologized on her behalf for comments she made about Kamala Harris says he's been fired. I was fired by Janet and Randy after attempts to improve her image in front of public opinion and her fans, and this is something I do not deserve. So I don't even think he was really just a publicist. Um, they said that he is an Egyptian filmmaker and founder of a consulting firm called 24 East Agency. He claims to be a creative consultant for stars like Jackson, Beyonce, Britney Spears. Now, why he was acting as as Jackson's manager is unknown. So, girl, you ain't got no job. You're not even a creative director no more. Can I say something? This is a thing. Me personally, this is just me. Okay, I have white people in my. I feel like I have to say this every time. I have white people in my family. My grandmother who passed away, her brother who recently passed away, was married to a white woman. Okay, my aunt, she's white, of course, through marriage. My uncle, my blood uncle, he has a kid with a white woman. Um, one of my cousins is married to a white woman. Girl, a couple of my cousins are married to a white woman. Um, one of my uncles used to date, another one of my uncles used to date a white girl. Um, so I'm completely not against interracial relationships. I am one who goes up for it. Love is love. I am someone who does not believe in the one drop rule, though. With that being said, I think that these conversations about Kamala's race, ethnicity, and nationality, they need to cease. I really do. Because at this point, I think what's happening is someone threw this out there, and instead of us really having conversations about the things that matter, now we're having conversations about whether or not Kamala is a full-fledged nickel. Right? As if the other person who you could be possibly voting for is a full-fledged nigga. Girl, girl. So I just, in my opinion, I just don't know. And when you really think about it, Kamala isn't even having this conversation. It's really us who are fussing and cussing and acting a fool over whether or not we know what she is, what she is not, what she identifies as, what she doesn't identify as, when the conversation should be revolving around her policies, what she's planning to do for us. Not, oh, girl, she ain't black. Girl, he ain't black either. Girl, she white. Well, girl, he white too. Girl. So it's like I just think that I just don't know how this is a productive conversation to have. Like, who cares what she is at the end of the day? Girl, before Joe Biden got into office, I wasn't voting for Joe Biden. I was gonna vote for a white woman. Yes, I was. Okay, I didn't give a damn about whether she was white. I just knew that that's who I wanted in the office out of the people that were on stage. I want that white lady. Yes. I want Miss Karen. Hopefully she do right. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is like, I just don't want. I just hate that we are getting caught up into these conversations about Vice President Kamala's race, ethnicity, girl, nationality. Girl, I just think I just don't know how productive it is. And for Janet Jackson, sister, girl, come here. Janet Jackson, I'm sure that your Thanksgiving Your Christmas looks like a United Nations meeting. Girl, you should not even, I don't know what Janet was trying to do. I'm going to say that Janet was just having kitchen table talk when she shouldn't have been having kitchen table talk. We can go down a list of people in Janet's family and we can start this whole race conversation, ethnicity conversation, that's a nationality conversation. Girl, we can start with her son, but see, we're not gonna talk about the kids though, right? We can start with Jan, and we can start with Michael and his children. What's some children's name? Comforter, Sheets. What's the names? Girl, Barcelona, Paris, France. I don't know. Girl, Milan. What's some kids' name? Girl, I don't know. Egyptian cotton sheets. Girl, I don't know. Blanket, blanket. Who? What's the other one? She got tattoos now. Real pretty white girl. See, here I go. Paris, I think that's her name. Milan, girl, I don't know Italy. I don't know. So it's just like I just think that Janet, like I don't know what her goal was by making those comments. Especially, I just wish that she would have thought about what she said because now again here we are, the everybody's and we're having the conversation because it made the blogs, but here we are again having a conversation about Kamala Harris's racial identity, you know, because Janet Jackson wanted to say that this man's dad. I heard his dad. Girl, I heard her daddy was white. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I heard her daddy was white. Girl, they say he a nigga. No, girl, they said, girl, I heard he was white. That's what they said. Shit. But at the end of the day, Janet is my girl. We're not canceling Janet, girl. We sure not, girl. We go, girl. Janet is an icon. She's a legend, and I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what Janet said. We still ain't canceling Janet, and that's just what it is. That's on period. Hey, Janet, you still mother, okay? Anyways, girl, let's move on. Shout out to Janet Jackson, baby. Onika, girl. Now, listen. Before we get into this, I believe that how does the saying go? A broken clock is right at least 2 times a day. I also believe that with Onika, it's kind of like right message, wrong messenger. Nicki was going off the other day online, and at this point, girl, I don't know what happened for her to want to be on JayZ's ass like this. When I tell you, Nicki is on JayZ's ass, girl. She done did everything but just say his name. Say my name, say my name. She done did everything but say his name, child. Girl, let's get into some of these tweets that Miss Thing sent out the other day. This is the one that got me. Dear Short and Stout. She was talking about Steven Stout. Dick, Laffy Taffy, Alien, Dick, Breath, SAS. We want to know if you were present during abuse of teenagers and children. That's what we want to know. You can't taste my... Okay. My meow meow. Stop. Aaliyah, Foxy. I said, oh my God. Hey, I said, come on, Nicki. Hey. During R. Kelly video shoots and stuff, did you know about the abuse to Kim Porter and Cassie? Y'all seem to always run in a sort of rat pack. So so that's what the people want you and your peeps to speak on. Ugly, bald head, bowling ball bitch. I said I know that's oh, Nicki is kind of funny. You ninjas don't have this energy for gangsters in person, only for bees on the internet. Now listen, I saw some pictures. I saw some pictures. Now I don't know if this is AI or not. Girl, I saw some pictures that's been floating around on Twitter. This is the thing. Can I just say something? Can I say something? Nicki ain't got no room to talk because at the end of the day, you still willingly got with a man who was convicted of the R word and started a family with him. So at the end of the day, Nicki's situation, girl, you really don't have no room to talk. But quiet as it's kept, if we're gonna be honest about the whole situation, most of the people, girl, don't have no room to talk over there in Hollywood. Because if y'all think that Puffy was the only one, no, Puffy is the one that's gonna probably take the fall. Okay? But if you think that Beyonce's husband, hey, and some of the other ones could, it's a possibility. I'm not saying they was. So let me be very clear with my words. That they wasn't over there dibbling and dabbling some of the same shit that Puffy was doing, y'all are sadly mistaken. So y'all can get mad at Nicki all day long. And yes, it is true that Nicki is married to who she's married to and has a family who she has a family with. But it still doesn't take away from what she's saying could possibly very, very well be the truth. We're not going to sit here and act like we have not heard rumors of JayZ and Foxy, JayZ and Aaliyah. We're not going to sit here and act like when Wendy Williams was down to ITV, Puffy was the only name that she called out because she didn't call out JayZ's name too. The people just don't want to talk about it because of its connection to Beyonce. Are we going to have a real honest conversation? Or are we going to sit here and play this game? So this is one of those situations where for some people, they don't want to hear what Nicki has to say because of the person who she's decided to connect herself to, which is her husband. But it doesn't take away from what she's tweeting that it could possibly well be a fact. Nicki is indeed a part of Hollywood. Nicki could also be one of those people who was problematic in Hollywood. We don't know. But if anybody is going to call it out, or if I'm going to believe anybody's word, it's going to be somebody who's been in that circle, or she's been close enough, or he's been close enough to hear and see possibly what was going on. I'm just saying, y'all. Here she go. They wanted brunch and baby oil, worried about the tea of a 15-year-old child who was railroaded, but no comments on the tea and baby oil that's been going on for decades and as recent months ago. If 15-year-olds needed to be held accountable and told they can never move past their past, then what about the 30-year-olds who groomed, sat by, and was silent? Oh, right. Let's keep the blogs focused on Oniqua. Girl, short and stout dick don't want to talk about him, friend them. Girl, hey, laugh my effing ass off. I mean, girl, it still don't take away from the fact that, girl, 15 or not, he did what he did. And that's just what it is. Your husband did what he did at 15, 16, however old he was. He did what he did when he was convicted. His ass was sent to prison. So two things can be correct at the same time. He did what he did, girl. He was 15, but he did what he did. And also, a lot of y'all probably sat around in silence. That's the thing. Hollywood is only this big. So for anybody to act like, even if they were not a participant in anything that Puff Daddy had going on, we're not going to sit and act like those people in Hollywood have not heard the stories. They all heard. They just turned their heads because, like a lot of us, what we do, that ain't none of our business, right? That ain't got nothing to do with me, child. Ain't got nothing to do with me, right? You just want to go to work, do your job, get your check, and go home. That's the same way they move. When you really think about it, as messed up as it may sound, I think we have all been in a position where we just want to go to work, get our check, and go home, and we don't want to be caught into no bullshit. So when you think about the girls in Hollywood who are making all this money, right? They just probably want to go to work, do their job, and then take their black asses home. Yeah, I heard so and so was happening. Girl, I didn't want no parts of it. Yeah, I saw at a party one time, it looked like it was some people that I was underage, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And they probably turned their heads. And I got my shit and left, like they say, right? Yeah, I heard so and so was doing so and so, but I ain't want no parts of it. As trifling as it may sound, I believe that that's how a lot of people sometimes can operate. There were times at my jobs when there were investigations happening due to sexual harassment. I remember me saying, I don't want no parts in that. And then one day I literally remember what made me have a change of heart was I would be down here preaching to y'all about doing the right stuff. You should not leave people out, to dry by themselves. If you know something, speak up. And then one day a light bulb just went off, and I was like, "Girl, you wrong." And I remember some shit went down, and it was what it was. And I was like, if I lose my job, if some retaliation happens, it just happens. At least I know that I did what was right, you know? So hopefully, even with this shit happening with Nicki and JayZ and all the stuff happening in Hollywood, hopefully people start to have the courage to come out and speak up and say, you know what? I remember I was at one of those parties. I left an hour early. Just to put that down on the books. I left an hour early. But I remember when I was there, girl, it did appear as though some of those folks that were there were underage. Or I have heard about so and so. Was I there? No. But the word on the street was X, Y, and Z happened. I also heard at New Year's Eve this happened. Was I there? No. But that's what I heard. Nicki is a mess. The thing is, Nicki, you decided to get with that man, and that is going to be a problem for Nicki for the rest of her life. It is. And so Nicki's upset because I got with my man who was accused of doing the same thing that these niggas do. And y'all want to keep talking about him, but y'all don't want to talk about them. That's what Nicki's mad about. If y'all gonna talk about my man, then y'all gonna talk about these other men too. Cause Puffy ain't the only one, and my man ain't the only one. But Nicki, every time we look up, you are tying yourself to a man that has some type of SA connected to his name. Whether it's your husband, your brother, girl, Takashi 69, right? Like we look up and you are either defending, working with, procreating with somebody who has SA attached to their name. So when you come out and you say the things that you say, and I absolutely believe what Nicki is saying, but people turn their heads because it's like, oh, girl, shut up. It's one of those things like right message, wrong messenger. Anyways, she'll be all right. She rich. Shout out to Nicki. Hey, JayZ. Hey, Beyonce. Mm. Aaliyah, uh, Aaliyah just never stood a chance. It's so sad because, and I feel like one of the crucial missing parts of the conversation that people never have or never want to, we never speak about is Aaliyah's mama and her daddy. Because if R. Kelly was married to Aaliyah when she was 15 or 16, what was her mama and her daddy at? What was her daddy at? Okay. Where Rashad at? I remember Rashad was kind of cute. What he doing? Was Rashad kind of switching? I always thought Rashad was kind of a little switch down river. Is he not gay? I thought he was always gay. Anyways, I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and I was saying that people have to, a part of the conversation has to be the age of these young girls when they are snatched up by these older men. From Aaliyah being 15 to Cassie being a teenager to Beyonce, that's a conversation y'all don't like to have because it's, oh, Beyonce and JayZ. Yeah, but at the time they were saying that JayZ was going around here talking about how he had his eyes on Beyonce when she was 16 years old. And then and we're not gonna play that Beyonce didn't get her ass up in front of her family and friends talking about how JayZ taught her how to be a woman. Hello? So I think the thing that people don't like to talk about is one, Aaliyah's parents and how they kind of threw her to the wolves, how it was scuttlebutt about Aaliyah being passed around. You know, now at that time, I think those pictures Aaliyah was technically a grown woman, right? But it doesn't take away from the fact that it started when she was a child. It's easier to manipulate these young girls. Don't get it twisted. We all can be manipulated at any age. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. You can be manipulated. But the chances are greater when you don't have any type of experience, when you're still wet behind the ears, when you're young. That's the part of the conversation, right? When you look at the common denominator, it's the age of the girls when they swoop them up. They're not swooping up the 40 and 50-year-old girls, women. They're going to the middle schools. They're going to the high schools. They're getting the girls who don't have any experience, right? Because they know that they can manipulate them easier, okay, than they could someone who's 30 or 40 or 50. JayZ wasn't gonna go get nobody his age at 30. Because a woman who's 30, you know, she could still be manipulated, but she'd have probably been down this road a couple of times where it's easier for me to spot it. Now, whether I want to ignore the red signs, that's one thing, but I can spot them. Now, some of y'all spot them and just turn y'all in and ignore them. I feel bad for Aaliyah. I feel bad for a lot of these boys, these girls who are in these situations and they are taken advantage of. We talked about Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is someone who literally, it just makes me want to weep because every time I see Justin Bieber, he appears to be soulless. He really does. He looks as though he has no life in his body. It is so sad to me. I mean, he also needs to look like he needs to, girl, no shade. He also needs to go sit in a tub, girl, and wash his ass, girl, and just put a little bit of bleach. That's old school. Put just a teaspoon of bleach in your water, Justin, because you be looking dirty. You don't like your ass is clean. But you know, but for real, though, all jokes aside, Justin Bieber always gives me like he has no energy in his body. Like he's just walking around here like he's just alive, but he's not living. That's what I see when I see Justin Bieber. I think Justin Bieber was someone who was taken advantage of in the industry. And I don't think that Usher protected him. And let me get off. This is why I need a Patreon. Girl, I need a Patreon. Okay? Because I be wanting to say some shit. I can't say it on here though. Let me get up. I gotta go. I'll talk to y'all later. Goodbye.